everyone, it's Di here from Di's Den, and this week I'd like to show you how I made this card. I'm calling it a pocket tag card. So this is my tag on the front. We're going to do a Christmas one, so it will be a little bit different than this, but it's just a lovely little card, and this measures 5.5 square. So that, you know, it's a nice big card, and it will fit into, obviously, into a 5.5 inch envelope. Now, oops, sorry, I won't be putting a row of diamantes on like this as I have here, because of the way I'm making this one for as a Christmas card. But in the photographs on the written tutorial, which will be on Di's Den for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorials, you will find the photograph of this card along with the one we're making today. So you will be able to see that I have actually done that on this and how different it is on the other. So let's pop this one out of the way and let me show you what we're going to be using. We're going to be making a Christmas card this week. Leaves of holly, and I've done a little bit of the stamping because I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do a few things. So I've done Christmas wishes, which I'm going to put on the front, and I'm doing that in a tag. I don't know what I've done with the tag. I hope it hasn't dropped on the floor somewhere. I'll have a look in a second. And I've Season's Greeting for the inside, along with From Our Home to Yours. And on my tag piece, this piece here, I'm going to put Peace and Joy. So that's what I'm doing there. So, and I'm using that set, and I'm using the dies from that set to make my holly leaves and my holly berries, so which I've already cut out, but I've got one here so I can show you how it goes together. So they'll pop that on one side, and we'll bring in the pieces. Let me see if I can find that other tag. If not, I will actually oh, there it is. So there you go. I've actually cut my tag out for the front of the card, and that is using the basic borders on stylish shapes. Don't know where I got basic borders from. So I'm using these two larger ones here. Now I've actually cut out this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, but that's with the second of the square with the things stitch line on it. So if I use that, we do. If we don't, well, I'm going to stamp on my tag first, but if it looks wrong or too dark, then we'll pop that over the top. Okay, so these are the dies that actually go with the holly set, and we used the medium size, or the smaller one of the two, plus the two berries, which I just showed you. And that's a lovely set, but this card can be made with any, you know, design in mind. Now for my basic borders, which I've done on this one I did a triangular border, but on the one we're going to be doing today, I've done just a flat edge. Oops, got a piece of white stuck on there. Just a flat edge. So I'll show you what these borders look like. These borders are lovely. We've got a curve. This is the triangular top one we use. This is the one we're using today. You've got one that looks a bit like clouds, a and two different kind of zigzaggy ones. So they are really pretty to be using. And let me pop that back in there. Oh, I can't pop that. Unlike this one where I stamped all around, I am actually using this embossing folder, which is called Merry Melody, which is actually beautiful. It's got like Christmas notes all over it. I've never played the notes, so I don't know what it actually, if it is actually a tune or not. So let's move them all out of the way too, and let's get stuck in and tell you what you need. Now these are my scraps for all my pieces that I've used, but the rest, so I'll go through those in a moment. And for our main card, we need a piece of card that measures 11 by 5.5. And then for the front, which I've already done my, I don't know if you can see it very well, it's not a good light in here for this. Let's turn that light around a tiny bit more. Oh, that might be a bit better. That's got the music notes on it. So that piece measures 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. Then for my other front pieces, now this one's got funny lines on it, but oh, there we go. But I'm not worried because it's going to be covered, so we won't see that. And this piece measures 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and that's going to go in the centre here like this. And then the other piece for the front is 4 inches by 12 inches. This is nice on the inside and very plain, so it's not going to take away from the outside of the paper in this case. If it's plain white on the inside like my other one was, like this one, that's good too, because it just doesn't deter from the actual picture, you know, what you're trying to present. Okay, and then my tag piece measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. For my insert, I need a piece that measures 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and a white piece that goes on the top that measures 5 by 5. So that's all our pieces. For our pieces that we're making, other than that, for my tags I used a piece that measured 4 inches by 1 3/4 and 3 1/2 by 1 3/4 for the tag. And then this piece, because I used 3 of them, I'm not sure whether I'll put the 3 on there, 6 1/2 by 2 1/4, and this piece for the other part was 5 by 4. So that's all our pieces. So let's bring in the pieces we're going to score, which are actually this long piece of designer series paper along with our main card piece. So I'll bring in our scoreboard, and this time we're going to be using, let me move that out of the way, we're going to be using both ends of our score tool. Okay, so for our main card, we're going to pop that in on the long side, which is the 11-inch side, and we're going to score this using the small end at the 5 1/2-inch mark. So we'll pop that one out of the way, and then we're going to bring in our other piece of designer series paper, and we're going to turn it over and use the long end, the fat end, sorry, and we're going to score this at 4 inches. And the reason we turn it over and do that is because we won't cut through the paper, which is what we don't want to do, and 8 inches. So that was 4 inches and 8 inches, because this piece is 12 inches long. And that's all the scoring we're going to do. But while we're still doing our bits, we're actually going to fold and burnish this piece over gently on both sides. And I'm going to then bring in my trimmer, and I'm going to trim from that score line there, and I'll do it on this side so it's a little bit easier, from that score line at the 4-inch down to the bottom corner. Now I'm doing it on this side because it's actually easier for me to see it. So we've got a triangle piece like that, and we're going to do exactly the same on the other side, from that 8-inch mark down to, I can't even see that line up the top there. Let's give that a bit more of a burnish. That's a bit better. I can see that one. Down to the other corner. Okay, and those pieces can go on one side for now. And that's what we've got here now, is like a pocket. How gorgeous does that look in that paper? Isn't that absolutely lovely? Okay, so let's pop that out of the way now, and we can work on our card. We'll start with this piece while we've got it here, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring in some double-sided tape. Now I've got red liner tape here, only because it was already on the desk and I forgot to bring my normal red tape over, my normal double-sided tape over, and I'm going to pop a piece along the bottom edge through the middle and down, that's it, through the middle. Okay, chop that off. I'll pop that down. Now it doesn't matter whether you go left over right or right over left. It's not like a cardigan. Oops, come on. Why aren't you coming off? There we go. And so we will, And the one part I don't like about the red liner tape is the static from it. So we're going to pop this over and we're going to make sure that it lines up along the bottom edge so that it's nice and square here. Once we've done that, we'll pop that one down and we'll pop another piece of tape along this edge again. And cut that one off. Let's pop that tape out of the way now. And pop that one down. And just making sure before we go any further that we've got it nicely lining up along the bottom, because we don't want it hanging out. And in this case we're going to pull this off from this side if we can. There we go. Oh, come on, get off my finger. And I'm going to just roll that back a tiny bit on that edge because of this being smaller. And then we're going to pop that down. And as you can see now, because I rolled that back just there, we don't have a bit of tape hanging out the end there, so it's not sticky on that end. So on this end here, if it's like I've got a little bit of sticky hanging out, just going to trim that bit off. There we go. Oh, a little bit of the paper came with it, so that it's nice and even. So that's our pocket done. So we will now glue our pocket onto our smaller piece of card front, which is the 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch piece. So, and at this stage it doesn't matter which way up you've got it because we haven't put it on the front of the card yet. Oh, come on, stay there. We'll pop this onto here, like so. And that's that pocket glued onto there. Right, so let's get the main card and we're going to fold and burnish this so that we get a nice crisp edge on the 3 sides. And bring that down. And we will then glue our piece of that we've actually embossed onto the front of that. Oh wow, doesn't that look lovely? Making sure you've got your things up the right way, which is that way up. If you're using an embossing folder with a direction like this one is. So we're going to pop this onto the front of my card like so. And my words, or my whatever you call them, notes are up the correct way. Alright, so then we're going to pop this one glued into the middle here. And we're going to try and centralise that now, like so. That's going to take a little bit because of you've got raised areas, so it just needs to be pressed down nicely and sort of ironed onto there. Okay, so while that is drying on there, what we will do is we will actually stamp our insert. So I'm actually using Evening Evergreen here, and I'm going to just stamp Season's Greeting from our house to yours, and just popping that right into the center like so. Just plain and simple inside. For me, I like it that way, so I like crisp insides so that I can write a nice message. Now we will glue these layers together. Just have a little bit of glue there. Okay, and we glue this to the inside of the card. Like so. Oh, now that looks so nice on the inside there. And now we'll bring in our piece here. Now, as I say, I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to pop this on the top here and pop that into the middle, or whether I should just leave that and stamp it on there. I think I'm going to pop that on there. So I'm actually going to pop that up on a couple of dimensionals, sorry. I get caught saying dimensions when they're dimensionals. I had been told about it, but it's not like I do it on purpose. Okay, so let's pop that there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my hole punch here, and I'm going to punch through the top of that as well as the middle of the actual card underneath, even though that has got on dimensionals. So now, if you wanted to, you could pop a piece of this into the bottom corners like I did on the other one, which is what I did here. So we will do that so you can see what I did. Let's pop that out of the way. Now all I did was I brought in my scoreboard and I popped this in on the long side, well, on a straight side at the 1 inch mark here, and I cut that corner off. Then I turned it around and I did exactly the same on this corner. Whoops. So I had those two corners cut off just to put in the corner of my card. I did that because I just thought it needed a little something there. So we'll just pop those into the corners of my card here. My little tag. It just saves it from being quite so bare. Now if you wanted to use this for attaching a gift card, that would be easy. That would fit in there just perfectly. I don't have one on my desk here, but it would fit in there just perfectly. So we're going to just pop a piece of ribbon through there. Now I'm using the Evening Evergreen ribbon, and I'm going to cut a piece about 5 inches long, which is, I don't know what that is in centimetres offhand. I'm not a real big a person that remembers all of that. It'd be about, I don't know, 12, 13 centimetres. Pop that through the hole from the front to the back. That way you get a much better look on the front of the card. And then through the middle to bring them up, both of them. Yep, they're both there. Oops. Like so. And then we can just trim them off on a nice angle. Okay. So that's those done. And we can pop our little tag into the front of our card then. So we're going to just do our holly leaves. So I will actually show you. I've got one here. This comes in like 2 sections, a full bodied one and then the piece that goes over the top. So I just go along with my glue and just place dots all the way around and down these bits. Oops, come on, down the middle. Oh, come on, that's it. And then just turn it over and pop it on, because these match up beautifully. So you only need to put one side on in the right place and then push the other one down. Now with the glue that I'm using, this will dry, and it will dry without being sticky. So it will dry clear and won't be sticky, so it can be used for anything. So let's pop that one out of the way. We're going to pop these two here with our berries, like so. So we'll pop these on some dimensionals. Come on, get off me finger. Oops. Off me finger, I said, not stay on there. As well as my berries. So let's pop them onto the front of my card. Like, I'm going to pop them just up a bit higher because I want to put my other saying on there too. Okay. Pop that one just there like so, with my berries over the top, which I've done exactly the same way. These were done with two different colour reds, and then we will glue our little message for the front of the card together. Oops, get on there straight. My eyes are not straight today, and that glue's gone all funny. Like it dried before it got there. That was a bit weird, wasn't it? Hey, that's better. And then we'll pop that one up on some dimensions as well. Oops, come here. And pop that just below there, like so. Actually, I'm going to lift that up just a tiny bit and pop it just underneath that, so that it actually sits a bit more flat. Let's make sure it's in the middle. Yes, that looks a bit better. Alright, so then we're going to finish this off. I have some of the in colour opal rounds, and I'm going to use the evening evergreen ones here, if I can pick them up. There we go. And we'll pop one here, and I don't know, one here. I'll be too high if I do that. A bit lower, just there, like so. And that's my card for today. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I didn't stamp my piece and joist directly onto my tag. I actually put it on that tag there and put it on there. But what a lovely idea. It's just a bit different of a card, and I hope you've enjoyed today's card. As you can see, that has now dried and you can't see any of the glue there. So this is my card for this week. If you would like the written tutorial for this, you can head over to Die Stamp for stamping, crafting and tutorials. There you'll find the written tutorial for this card and all of my cards. This they all go live on the same day, so whatever date you're all watching the YouTube video, the written tutorial will be dated in the files section the same day. It's free to join, and we look forward to seeing you all there, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.